Have you noticed how manifestation seems to be becoming progressively easier for people? Because I have. I just had my mother on the phone a few moments ago to tell me that she's just bought a flat and found a buyer for her house. She only had the idea a couple of months ago. She only put the house on the market less than 2 weeks ago, and it's like, it's all happened. There's something to do with the changes which are taking place that are affecting all of us. It's making manifestation easier. So long as you can get out of your own way, that is, it's really important to be able to do that. And the easiest way to get in your own way is to have an avalanche of negative thoughts about any proposed project. If you can allow those negative thoughts just to ease off, disperse, go away, that makes it so much easier for you to manifest whatever it is that you wish to manifest. I would say that everyone's a magician, but you have to look at what the actual definition of magic is. And there are many definitions, but the one that's perhaps most useful but very controversial is magic is simply acting in a way so that one obtains the results in accordance with one's will. And here I blow everything out again because let's smash some more belief systems, shall we? Everyone's a magician. You cannot actually exist on this planet without being a magician. Supposing you fancy a cup of tea. Well, if you fancy a cup of tea, you have the idea in your mind of the cup of tea, possibly accompanied by the desire for the cup of tea. At some point that is going to be followed by the magical working. And the magical working is you get up out of your chair, you walk to the kitchen, you fill the kettle with water, you put the kettle on, you make yourself your cup of tea, and you bring your cup of tea to your place and you sit down and you drink it. That is a magical act. In other words, you cannot live without magic. So magic isn't something that's associated with people wearing funny robes and doing arcane practices. Sure, you can wear the funniest robe you like and you can engage in very arcane practices. And there are those that engage in blood sacrifices in the pursuance of their magical workings. However, we're all magicians. Those of us that are actually capable of manifesting anything at all. Now take an example of someone who's in the mental hospital who's suffering from catatonia. That person has actually lost the ability to perform magic because they would be staring at the wall and they might have thoughts going through their consciousness and they might have ideas and desires, but they're not able to manifest anything, so all they can do is stare at the wall. Someone in a coma, same thing applies, unable to move out of the body. The rest of us, they're actually able to function and move our bodies. We're all magicians, we're all using magic in our everyday life. And that I find is a really helpful way to look at magic. It takes the hocus pocus out and puts it into practicality. So if it's a cup of tea, it all seems very simple. Maybe it's a really big dream, you've got an incredible project to make a big difference in the lives of thousands of people. The same principles apply. The first bit of magic is the visualization, actually picturing what it is that you want to manifest. If you can do that in as much detail as possible, so much the better for you and your project. If you can become emotional about it, excited about it. This is what my mother has been doing. My mother's been practicing magic for weeks. She's lived with my father for 60 years. He died in March this year. She wants to move to somewhere else. Strong desire to move somewhere else. She keeps on picturing what she likes. I'd like a flat, I'd like it to be near the sea, I'd like this, I'd like that, I'd like the other. She talks about it, she bores everyone to death about it maybe even, but it doesn't matter because she's engaged in a magical act. And by so doing, she's actually making it happen for herself. And all the rest of us as are witnessing this can actually take one look at our mother and say, honour to you, mother, for being so powerful a magician, for in a short space of, well, not even weeks really, within days, she's gone from a I'd like to move to, well, she's found a flat and oh, she's found a buyer for our house. It's all happening. So you have the visualization, you get the emotions engaged, you get the wanting it to happen, you picture it in the detail, and then the most important bit that people tend to forget about, you take action. If she didn't go to the estate agents and put a house on the market, nothing would have happened. If she hadn't been out and about, had a conversation with one of her neighbours who talked to her about that flat, and if she hadn't followed up the conversation by making the phone call with the phone number she was given, there would have been no results. So a really important part of magic is doing the work. Another good example of magic is my house is dirty, and I get out the hoover and the brush and dustpan and the cloth and I clean the house. Without the cleaning there is no magic. Without the making the phone call to the estate agent there's no magic. So there's a bit of magic which is the doing the work. And again, you watch these programs on the TV and they wave their wands, they don't do any work. It isn't magic. Magic is doing the work. It's that final stage. It's basically, in terms of looking at our map, you move from being the first non-physical plane, which is in the realms of visualization, and then you bring it down from a non-physical plane and you ground it in the physical. And that's what you do. And it's the doing the work bit that's so important. And then if you're in alignment, then it all happens effortlessly, like my mother, and then you get the result. And you talk to other people about it and you inspire them with your magical achievement. So one of the most important things really for magic is some motivation. There has to be something that motivates you in order to be able to practice magic. It might be the desire for a cup of tea, it might be the desire to change the way the world works. That's where it begins with, is a motivation. Then it's a visualization, then it's feeling it emotionally, and it's going and doing the work, and then allowing the result to happen, stepping out your own way. There's a particular phrase in magical workings which is called lust for result. If you're desperate to have that result, that can certainly push it away. It seems that the more relaxed you are, the easier things seem to go. So if you can declare whatever it is that you wish, and then relax about it, and allow things to unfold in their own sweet way, that seems to be the most helpful way for things to manifest. Ultimately, mind does create matter. If the mind is applied, if you apply the mind to the subject at hand, then it's possible to manifest from mind into matter. That's really all there is to magic. Very simple, and we all do it all the time, every day. QED, that's it, folks.